Hey everybody, Smart Silver Stacker here. In today's video, I'm going to be getting into why now, in 2022, is a great time to be investing in silver, whether you are a seasoned stacker or just stacking your first couple of ounces. So, let's talk about it. First of all, thanks for watching my video. If this video provides some value for you, please do give it a big thumbs up down below. It helps a lot with the YouTube algorithm, and if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, why not subscribe to the channel? So today, I'll be talking specifically about why now in 2022 is a great time to invest in silver. Although some of the reasons are the same reasons I've been stacking for the past decade. But really, those reasons are even more pertinent today than ever before. And listen, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy on YouTube, and I don't know your personal situation. So make sure you do your own due diligence. Now, of all the ways to invest in silver, stocks, ETFs, silver miners, etc., my absolute favorite way is stacking real physical silver. Not a paper derivative, not a number in a computer somewhere, but real silver coins and silver bars that I can hold in my hand. And for anyone out there who is currently stacking silver, you already know what I'm talking about. Holding your own physical silver is a really cool experience, and as soon as you get your hands on this stuff, it's immediately recognizable as real money, as real treasure, and it's a very satisfying way to save some of your income. Over time, seeing your stack grow is a really rewarding experience. One of the things about physical silver bullion is that it's not quite as liquid as other silver investments. If you want to sell your stocks or ETFs, you can do so really easily with just a click of a button, and boom, you're back in cash. And it's not like it's hard to sell physical silver bullion, but you do actually have to take it somewhere to do so, or pack it up and ship it off. And so there is just that little extra step that you have to take to liquidate your investment. But that's kind of a good thing if you ask me, for two reasons. As far as silver as a way of savings goes, that extra step you have to take to liquidate your coins or bars might be just enough to make you reconsider that purchase you were about to make. Also, physical silver is a lot more fun than numbers in a bank account. So once you get it in your hand, if you're like me, you kind of don't want to sell it or get rid of it, just because you like having it. So for anyone who has a hard time keeping their hands out of their savings account, physical silver could be a great way to allocate some of those savings. The second reason, as far as silver as an investment goes, is that extra step to liquidate your physical bullion can help you to stay a strong hand. It can be tough not to panic sell investments in an online brokerage account when you see the numbers turning red. Silver is a long-term investment with strong long-term fundamentals, but it's also a volatile market, significantly more volatile than the other precious metal many investors are familiar with, gold. So when you're stacking physical bullion, you can't sell it with just a click if you get disgusted on a down day. And this can help stop you from getting shaken out of the market and stay a strong hand. Another great thing about stacking physical silver is you get kind of hooked on it. It's a lot of fun seeing your stack grow, and unboxing those new coins and bars is something you start to look forward to. The whole process makes taking that 10% out of your paycheck, or however much you're saving, it makes that actually something you look forward to. I know I've been able to save more since I started stacking. I'm always motivated to find that extra couple bucks to get that next coin or round. And I feel pretty good not having all of my savings in fiat currency constantly being devalued by the forces of inflation, which brings us to our next point. Inflation. Traditionally, silver has been viewed as a safe haven asset that serves as a hedge against inflation. This is pretty straightforward and easy to understand. As more currency is printed and the value of the dollar goes down, it should take more dollars to buy that same ounce of silver. So far, we have not seen a huge rise in the price of silver due to inflation, but that just means that it is that much more undervalued. And right now, in my opinion, the price of silver is coiled very tightly, and when it does begin to move up, it will do so in a big way. Consider that last year, in 2021, we had 7% year-over-year inflation, according to the government's own CPI. This is the highest number since 1982, and there's still lots of currency being created. And I think the Fed will likely be creating a lot more in the future. so I don't think the inflation numbers will be coming down anytime soon. The nice thing about holding physical silver, it has no counterparty risk. Nobody else has to make good on any promise for you to still hold the value that's in this metal. If the bank fails, big deal. The currency collapses, you've still got your silver. So investing in silver doesn't just protect you from regular old single-digit inflation like we have now in the US, it actually protects your wealth even in the event of hyperinflation and currency collapse. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you've probably heard me mention that I have family currently living in Venezuela who have been surviving hyperinflation and currency collapse for years now. Many of them have gotten by and made ends meet in their failing economy by selling and trading hard assets that they owned, like gold and silver. Several of them actually sold gold jewelry, but if they had just stacked silver coins instead of purchasing jewelry, they actually would have done better for themselves because they would have gotten a lot more metal for their money in the first place, and the highly divisible nature of silver coins would have made it easier for them to liquidate them a little at a time as needed. The possibility of hyperinflation and a dollar collapse are not the only reason to be investing in silver right now. Sure, it's fun to speculate about potential SHTF scenarios and all that, but there are some other somewhat more mundane indicators that show silver at today's level is seriously undervalued. The first one I'd like to bring to your attention is the Dow to silver ratio. Basically, this is a measure of how many ounces of silver it would take to buy one share of the Dow Jones Industrial Average Stock Market Index. And here's the long-term chart for this ratio, courtesy of macrotrends.net. Here on the chart, you can see the most recent date they have is December of 2021, when the ratio was 1,556. And at the time I'm recording this, the ratio is pretty close to that at 1,533. If you want to know what the ratio is right now while you're watching, just take the current price of the Dow and divide it by the silver spot price. One thing you can see on this chart is that the lowest this ratio ever got was back in January of 1980, when it dropped as low as 24.5. Now, just a little bit of history. In the late 1970s, the US was experiencing a growing problem with inflation, much like we are today. And in August of 1979, Paul Volcker was appointed as the chairman of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve. As soon as he took office, he began raising interest rates in an attempt to get inflation under control. That increase in interest rates, combined with the geopolitical uncertainty brought on by the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in December of 1979, caused silver to go on its biggest bull run in history. In January of 1980, the price of silver went as high as $50, leading to the compression of the Dow to silver ratio. Now, to give you an idea of just what a big move this was, in order to achieve the same Dow to silver ratio today, with the price of the Dow over 34,000, you would need a silver price higher than $1,300. This gives you an idea of just how cheap silver is today at under 25 bucks, especially when you take into account the similarities between 2022 and 1979. We have rising inflation, we have a Fed that just announced it will be raising rates soon, and to top it all off, we might even be getting our own Russian invasion this year, of Ukraine this time instead of Afghanistan. But will 2022 be the year that silver really takes off? Well, I can't say for sure. I don't have a crystal ball. But the fundamentals for silver are strong, and it is an extremely undervalued asset. That being said, I do view silver as a long-term investment, not one I'm hoping to flip within a few months to make a quick profit. One question some of you might be asking is, why invest in silver and not gold? After all, gold is also a traditional safe haven asset that protects against inflation. It has the same monetary characteristics of silver and also has no counterparty risk. Well, yeah, for all those reasons, I like gold too. But one indicator that makes me strongly favor stacking silver over gold in 2022 is the gold to silver ratio. Just like the Dow to silver ratio, the gold to silver ratio is basically a measure of how many ounces of silver it takes to purchase 1 ounce of gold. And here is a long-term chart of the gold to silver ratio dating back to 1915. At the time I'm recording this video, the ratio is right around 79, which, as you can see, is not as high as the number has gotten in the past, like in March of 2020 when it went above 110 for the first time ever. But it is definitely on the higher side, and that means that now, silver is relatively cheap compared to gold, And I don't know about you, but I like to buy assets when they are cheap and on sale. When would I consider switching? Well, if the ratio dropped down below 50, that would probably make me consider changing some of my purchases from silver to gold. And if it were to drop down below 20, which as you can see it did 3 times in the 20th century, then I would start to think about selling some silver and using the proceeds to buy gold. But for now, with a ratio quite close to the high end of the historical range, silver is the cheaper of the two metals, and that's why at the moment I prefer to stack silver. So to sum it up, 2022 is a great year to be investing in silver because it's historically cheap relative to assets like stocks. It's an inflation hedge and a good store of value, and my forecast is that we will be seeing a lot more inflation as we get through the decade of the 20s. It's also a safe haven asset, so if we do see turmoil in the markets, if we see increased geopolitical instability in places like Ukraine or Taiwan, investors will be bidding up the price of silver as they look for safety. And even compared to other safe haven assets like gold, silver is quite cheap at the moment. And even if the world and markets don't go to hell in a handbasket, stacking silver is fun. It's a rewarding way to save money, and it's one of the few monetary assets you can acquire that allows you to completely remove wealth from the financial system, which, as anyone who has been paying attention, I'm sure can tell you, is not exactly rigged in your favor. So, what do you think? Is now a good time to be investing in silver? Let me know in the comments below, and if you liked watching this, then check out these other videos about investing in silver right here. Thank you all very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you next time. Smart Silver Stacker, out.